Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. I'm Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson.
And I'm Shannon Penrod.
Hey, good to see you today.
It's so good to see you. You always bring energy with you when you come in here.
I try. It's the Starbucks that I brought with me that's hiding.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but I'm really excited today because one of my friends and a woman who I consider, she's a real pioneer in the area of autism, and she's helped so many people, so many families.
Yes.
Lisa Ackerman, who is the founder of Talk About Curing Autism Now, and she is going to share with us her story and how TACA came about. It was just one of those incredible grassroots movement that has just grown and done so much for families.
Well, and I was just saying earlier that I had never had an opportunity to meet her. I just met her during the break, and it's a big moment for me because she's always been one of my heroes, and to meet her is a wonderful thing, and I'm glad that we're going to be able to introduce her to all of you
She's
guys.
fun, too. She's
amazing.
Very down to earth, very fun gal.
We'll try to keep it on the rails here between the three of us.
You'll know.
You know, put three autism moms together, anything could happen.
That's right.
Anything could happen.
You never
know.
We
have a little in the news to cover before we bring Lisa with us. Some things happening in the news.
A couple of things. Well, the National Institutes of Health awarded $100 million for Autism Centers of Excellence program. Now, $100 million is a lot of money, right?
Yes, it is.
It's for research that will focus on sex differences as well as limited speech. And it's going to certain, they've got 9 centers and research networks. So it's going to be University of California, LA, Boston University, Yale University, Harvard Medical School, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So that's what we know on this, that it's limited speech, the influence of other developmental delays, possible links to genetic patterns, and investigating treatments that will improve social behavior and attention in infants and acquisition of language in older children with ASD. So, you know, it sounds like a grand goal here.
Here's my question, though, because we've been looking at, this has been in the news all week long, and we've been looking at this, and we have limited answers about where this money is going to and who's been granted. I have questions, though. $100 million is a lot of money, and I don't want to seem like somebody who's not excited that that's being spent.
Yeah.
But I want to know, how did we arrive at that these were the people to give it to? Who decided that? And are those the things that parents necessarily wanted researched? And again, I just want some clarity. I want to know, how did this come about? And it doesn't seem like that's being included in what's being covered. So,
well, I don't really, it doesn't say the basis of the grants, and it doesn't, and it seems like it's a small, they're small studies. It says that they're going to enroll 200 children in 4 cities in one of these studies. So once again, it is, it looks like it's decided by, I'm sure a committee or some sort of grant-giving process, and I guess we can never say that it's going to where the greatest need is. That is such a hard question to answer, but we certainly hope that amount of money is going to come up with something.
I certainly hope so. $100 million is a lot of money.
Could go to a lot of treatment and support for families, right now.
Yeah.
So we hope that it comes up with something conclusive rather than just, there may be a link or there may be some connection, which we're always reading these studies and we're like, that is not really conclusive enough that you should have spent that kind of money.
Well, and here's my thing. I try to stay as plugged in as I can be. You're incredibly plugged in, and we're going to have Lisa Ackerman. She is the very image of being plugged in to the autism community. Nobody asked me what this money should be spent on. I know the Autism Research Group asks parents, what would you like research on?
Yes.
I want to know why the NIH didn't ask us.
Okay.
That's my question.
Why didn't you ask us, NIH?
But maybe I'm just crabby today. I don't know. That could be it. We've got another study, a small study that came out. Yeah, that the whole idea of having a personal device like an iPad on the job or an iPhone, something like that, for individuals on the autism spectrum seems to help them to perform better at work.
Yeah.
And I love this idea. It seems a little like a duh.
Yeah, it's kind of like a duh. It's our number one request for grants that parents have is for assisted technology.
Yeah.
And we have been very lucky in that Lisa and Eddie Gordardo gave us a large sum of money to give out many, many iPads last year, and we are continuing to raise funds for that assisted technology. And I personally went to a boy's home. I think we showed it on the show.
Yes.
Little Dustin,
Yeah.
who Hispanic family, being raised by the mother and grandparents, 2 boys, and little Dustin, severely autistic. And we brought the iPad to him, and he was just fascinated with it, and fascinated with maps. He knew where every freeway was in the state.
Wow.
And I got a note from his therapist and said she had been working with him for 5 years, and that he had made the greatest gains in the last month using that iPad. So clearly it is working, especially for a lot of our nonverbal kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ways, very cool apps. Remember when we had Kim from Panda Pals?
Yeah, absolutely.
She showed us these apps that actually use people now instead of the PECS old method where it's, you know, stick figures, but you're really able to really get the emotion. You're really able to get the action.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's obvious that it's a great tool.
It is a great tool, and I love the fact that we're, you know, even though it's a little bit of a duh, when we have these kinds of studies, it helps us to be able to raise more money. And if having an iPad helps our kids be able to better perform a job, because we always talk about that transition from teenage years to adulthood and having them be employed individuals, if this helps, then maybe we can create some more money to go towards this for our kids.
Yeah, it helps him, you know, the clock-based alert system helped this. He was working as a clerk, and it helped him, you know, manage his time, and I'm sure there are all kinds of ways that could happen.
Very creative. And then we of course want to report that there is a bigger influx of people who are crying out, asking for cameras in the classroom. And you and I have talked about this from time to time. The stories that have come out in the last couple of years is shocking to me. I shouldn't be shocked anymore, but the kinds of things that we hear that are happening in classrooms, whether it's be a special needs classroom or a mainstream classroom, ways in which individuals, whether they're aides or teachers or even principals, are reacting to our kids, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And definitely training is something that we need to make happen for classrooms, but more and more parents are saying you've got to get cameras in the classroom so that we can hold people accountable. One mom in particular in Texas who has a nonverbal daughter is really making a big push for people to be able to do this after her child began slapping herself and engaging in other challenging behaviors because of things that were happening in the classroom. And it was a teacher with a great deal of tenure, had been along for a long time, and we're now hearing reports that she may have put her possibly, allegedly, in a filing cabinet, may have taped the children to different things in the classroom. She just joins a whole host of parents who are saying enough is enough. This kind of stuff wouldn't happen if there were cameras in the classroom. I know there are services where you can have a camera set up that you can watch your dog while you're at work on a closed circuit TV. We can't get this for our kids with special needs. Come on. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's something that most parents would feel a lot better about if they knew that someone was watching over. And we never followed up with that father who taped who had his son go in with the recording.
Stuart Chaffetz.
Yes, Stuart.
Yes.
You know, he really was all over the internet. I mean, it was a huge story.
Love to have him on the show.
And let's maybe follow that up and see where that stands. Yeah,
absolutely. But you know, it's going to take money, and it's not the end of it. It's not going to take care of all the behavior. We have to have training for our teachers and our aides, but certainly holding them accountable visually would curtail a lot.
We know the statistics on bullying. It's like 80% of kids on the spectrum get bullied in their lifetime. So we've got to do something about that.
Absolutely.